Welcome to The Notice, a podcast from OTAVA with host TJ Howski and Melissa Locke.
We have Justin Keller here, the Vice President of Technology and Engineering at OTAVA, and he was in Vegas with you at the event, and he's joining us today as our first podcast guest. Hey.
Check that out.
So glad you're here,
right?
Justin.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, talk about the kickoff, man. Like we're starting strong, right? Like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except your feedback, right? So we're gonna have to get that from you. But yeah, man, we're super excited to have you here. So Explore was cool, right? But for those folks that might be plugging in, internal, and then obviously, on this platform sometimes external, walk them through a little bit. Like what is VMware Explore? You've been doing this for a hot minute, right?
Just a little bit.
Just like what does that look like?
So VMware Explore, for those that don't know, is a convention that VMware puts on. It's usually where they announce any new feature releases, any big upcoming changes to the platforms. And they also do what's important for us as a VMware partner, some technical advisory boards and things with partners specifically. It's a great event. I love going to those. You learn a lot from multitude of different product lines and, SD-WAN, NSX, vSphere, vCloud Director, and of course this year, big focus on Gen AI and app modernization.
Good stuff, fun stuff. We get to nerd out, but now we did get to eat a lot of food too. So VMware Explore
It's also true.
in Las Vegas is also about the buffets, right? So that was pretty good.
And gelato this time. Lots and lots of gelato. So lots of good times meeting with the guys we go with, right? We usually take a group with us. This year was actually 3 of us from OTAVA that went. We get to hang out with some other partners and vendors that we do business with. Comm Division, we spend a lot of time doing some meetings and dinners with them, going to some of the other breakout sessions with those guys, and, just getting around and talking to other partners and potential vendors and people we can introduce ourselves to.
Yeah, appreciate it. I think for me, man, the biggest takeaway that I got out of it to see was, everybody is using AI, right? Like Gen AI as like clickbait, as I'll call it, for marketing purposes, to draw everybody in. But what I really appreciated from the Explore perspective was how VMware is using it in the enterprise first, like just showing application at the company level or the firm level. But hey, this is how you can make business operations and efficiency better before they start to go out to the service provider world to say, hey, go out and sell this product. Because in essence, what they're saying is we're just at the beginning stages, right? GPU enablement, some of the other things that come with it. But we're not full blown ready to go out to the world and say, start embracing AI. But we're certainly having more relevant conversation. They have deep partnership with NVIDIA and some of the other things that they're doing. So that was my takeaway, is that they're bringing it to market the right way and really focusing on how can you as a firm individually, consume this and make a difference within your company before, as a service provider, we go out to the world and tell them how we think they should do it, right? Because we're all kind of learning together in this thing.
And you'll notice that from years past, right? You see that pattern often where something gets released into the vSphere Foundation with ESXi and vCenter Server, and then slowly starts building up until it becomes an integral part of vCloud Director and those platforms. So you're correct, right? The new big buzzword this year was the Gen AI and all the AI fun stuff. A couple years ago, it was that modernization in Tanzu. And you see that where it started as Tanzu Foundation and Tanzu Grid and vSphere, and now has Cloud Director and other plugins to public cloud providers and hyperscalers. And just keeps ramping up.
Yeah. It's crazy the rate. We talked a lot about it. So Mo, like you get to learn this crazy world that you work in, right? As a part of Schurz, and then now helping lead for the last several years in OTAVA. And for those watching, like we've taught Mo, like if you don't know what to say Kubernetes. All you have to do is say it really fast.
Favorite word.
And really loud, word. Right? Just Kubernetes, right? And all of a sudden you're like, I'm relevant, right? And now Kubernetes is transitioning to just say AI. Like there's AI for that, right? 15 years ago, there's an app for that. And if you just follow those market trends, you find relevancy. But
just so you know, that doesn't translate. So when my husband's talking to me about John Deere tractors and I say Kubernetes, it doesn't work. So.
Oh, but I think it does.
I think it's good stuff. But Yeah, I mean, the other thing that I really like, Jay, is we got an opportunity to participate in the VMware Technical Advisory Board, or TAB, right? So why don't you tell everybody like a little bit about what that is and the honor that it represents for OTAVA to be invited to participate in that as not only a contributing partner, but as somebody that gets to see behind the scene. Like, what does that mean, like, as OTAVA is a member of the Technical Advisory Board of VMware?
Yep. So the technical advisory board, specifically the one we were a partner with, was the cloud providers. That's a small group of probably, I want to say, 20 or so or fewer cloud providers that are out there. Just so everybody knows, in VMware's cloud provider program, there's about 4,500 partners. So to be a member of that is pretty awesome, right? It's pretty honorable mention there. So we were probably in a room with, I don't know, 75 to 100 people total maybe. And that's very specifically geared to cloud hosting providers. So for us, there's a lot of talk of, NSXT, which is still doesn't have the adoption that you think it would at this point. Definitely a lot of talk around the transition from NSXV to NSXT. A lot going on there. It was nice to learn that we were actually maybe a little ahead of the curve on that transition than some of our other peers. But it is a big honor to be invited to that and to be able to provide feedback to VMware to what we're seeing with our customers and clients and some of the technical challenges we run into with their products, providing services to them. So that's really where we can talk directly to their engineering and executive team and make suggestions or feature requests or things like that to provide better service to our clients.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's really, really good stuff. And I think, last one of the biggest takeaways that I had, Jay, like there was when you look across cloud service providers and you look advancing the stack, like moving from, colo through evolution to infrastructure up to platform, containers now, those kinds of conversations, kind of skip ahead in the evolution within the VMware product stack going from legacy enterprise to VCD, right? And so from an OTAVA perspective against market, and you look at where we are and what we learned in that room is, for what we're talking almost 10 years now, you've been running VCD clouds, right?
Yep.
That's a big deal.
I think we put in our first VCD cloud it was either 2011 or 2012. It was vCloud Director version 1.5, which presented a whole lot of challenges and a whole lot of features to be desired, which, they've quickly caught up on, and those things are there now. So that's nice. But it's nice to see them continuing to push those features for their partners and their cloud providers. I don't know if you guys, probably not Melissa, but maybe TJ was paying attention. A few years ago, 5-6 years ago, there was definitely a lot of rumbling and talking about whether Cloud Director would stick around, whether they would shift directions on that. And they decided to double down and go into it. And that was awesome. And it's showing, right? Cloud Director is almost 100% feature parity to vCenter at this point in vSphere. Like you said, right, there's introductory stuff in there for the AI, right? GPU exposure, virtualized GPUs, app launchpads to download code directly from NVIDIA and deploy it into their now Tanzu Kubernetes platform right inside of Cloud Director. So there's a lot of really cool stuff there, and it makes me super excited that they're continuing to push in that direction.
Yeah, it's slick. And then VCD Federation now, like one to rule them all, and some of the things that they're doing is pretty cool. Yeah.
NSXT Federation, where they can take policies from their on-prem NSXT environments and push those up to VMC and Azure VMware Service and other cloud providers like us, and rule one central rule set and policy set across all those clouds is really awesome to see them putting that stuff in.
It's slick stuff. Well, as we kind of bring this section in, we know that you're busy and you've got a lot of things that you're doing and leading for us. We're super grateful and excited and proud of you for stepping into this new role. It's not a small feat to lead an organization of our size with advanced technologies and, lead the vision for where we're going in architecture and design, product development, enhancement. You're doing a fantastic job, but why don't you tell, just kind of give your perspective when you look at OTAVA and you've been here through a lot of different evolutions as we've gone through as a business M&A activity to get to who we are as one organic entity now and evolving it. Like from Justin Keller's perspective, like what what makes OTAVA different? Like, why OTAVA? What do you see, and what are you excited about?
The biggest thing I see is a drive towards modernization, right? And really mastering our craft around multi-cloud and Cloud Director being a central piece of that. Obviously, having adopted Cloud Director early, I'm a pretty big fan of it at this point. So I really like that. But for what's exciting to me about OTAVA is our focus on providing really useful business solutions to clients and not just trying to sell them everything under the sun, right? We know we have a vast array of products and not everybody's going to use them all. And I really like the continued focus we're putting on providing those types of solutions to our end users.
It's good stuff, man. Thanks. Well, one little thing about you. So in the background, for those listening, you probably heard some birds, right? So there's a few things that are like chirping out there. So just tell the world a little bit about you real quick and about your family, because I just think it's awesome for folks to get to know you. That's what this is about.
So I made the poor decision to marry a veterinarian. My family consists of 2 dogs, 2 cats, and 4 birds, which are just little parakeets, but they're very noisy, as you can tell. I was trying to keep them down, but they decided they didn't want to be quiet anymore. I also have 2 visiting dogs on dog sitting right now. So at this point in my house running around, if you see me looking around, it's because I got 4 dogs, 2 cats, and 4 birds all going crazy around me.
Got it. So basically, you're this world's version in the technology space is Ace Ventura.
Yeah,
right?
pretty much.
Right.
Really,
come to be my jungle friends.
I can't really take the credit for that. It's more the wife is the Ace Ventura, but I kind of get dragged into it as her, what do you want to call that? Sidekick. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for.
Well, those birds heard that you were the first guest on the podcast, and they were like, no, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. They're like, we will be.
Yes.
That's fantastic. So, well, cool, man. Thanks so much for spending time with us. Like, we appreciate it. Mo, what do you think? He's doing pretty good, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't understand half of what he was saying. And so I just, I think you're really smart. And that doesn't say a lot coming from me. Yet I know that really smart people also think you're smart. So I'm happy to have you in this new role. Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us, man. We appreciate it. We know you got a lot of work to do, and thanks for everything that you're doing.